Oh, hello. I'm Mark Pikert, editor-in-chief of The Gay Goods, and you are tuned in to today's installment of The Gay Goodies, featuring a porn newcomer that has already taken America's crotch and heart by storm, Alpha Wolfe. That's Wolf with an E. I'm delighted to have him here. We're going to talk about getting into porn at the end of the pandemic, blazing new trails, and we're going to talk about being a cash master and being a muscle god and OnlyFans and studio work and all of that. I'm also very relieved that I trimmed my beard last night because I could not compete with his, and it would do me no good to try. Let's bring Alpha Wolfe on. See, look at that beard, that luxurious beard.
What's up, Mark?
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk to you because it's always interesting to talk to people who are kind of new-ish to the industry, because I myself am new-ish to the industry, having launched the site in November.
So we're both kind of virgins in this thing here.
And you know what? I'm already a tired whore.
At least you know you're a whore. That's the first part. That's the first step.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I have long said that if you have editorial integrity, you don't like to make money.
They go hand in hand.
They really do. So, I mean, what prompted you at the end of the pandemic? It's February 2021. Things are starting to look up. Vaccinations are on the horizon. And this is when you said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm getting into porn.
So we can go back to May of right after pandemic started. I met my partner, and she is a OnlyFans content creator and doing really well. And she said, "Hey, do you want to film?" I said, "I've never done it before, but absolutely, I'd do that." And
you giggled like a schoolgirl and blushed.
Yeah, well, because she's a dominatrix, and so I'm like, okay, then I'm the sub then. And so like all my early OnlyFans stuff is me like with like a slut collar on and like, in latex getting fucked by my partner with a strap on, and and so it just progressed. We filmed a lot and a lot of content through the year, traveled a lot. And then in February, she was contacted by Isaac X on Twitter. And he said, "Hey, do you ever film with any porn models?" And she showed me. I said, "Let me see that message. Who's this guy?" And I said, "He's fucking hot." And so Isaac and I started messaging, and one thing led to another. We met for lunch, and then all three of us filmed OnlyFans together. And he said, "I hope you're ready because I'm about to pimp you out." I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "You're going to blow up, and you just need to make sure you're ready." And so literally like a week after that, Tony DeMarco messaged me on Twitter. And he said, "Hey, you're super attractive and you're really hot, and we'd love to try you in a new film. Would you be interested?" I said, "Absolutely." And so March 3rd, or sorry, beginning of March, my first scene was with Chris Damned, and then the next day I did another scene with Devin Franco. So my first two scenes in the industry are with top-notch guys, and so and I did a really good job. They loved me, the crew loved me. And I just, I felt at home. I told my partner after my first scene and we wrapped, I went in the bathroom and I had like a little moment to myself and I cried a little bit because I was like, that was the most fulfilling job that I've ever had in my life, because I worked hard. People, like, I got a lot of positive feedback, and it was like finally at that point in my life where like, okay, I feel good about myself. People see what I wanted to see my whole life. And, I've been like reassured that I'm an attractive man, and I'm a good person, and people like to work with me. And so all these things just rung so high in my head. And I took a moment, and I'm a really emotional person. So I cry a little bit and I brush it off, and I'm like, man, this is for me. This is what I want to do. And I just did what I had to do as far as just being personable, and I love conversing with people, and I love being real and just having like below the surface level type of conversations. And with that, it goes a long way. And so after those first 2 scenes, they contacted me immediately and booked me for under the Falcon umbrella. It's a Fetish Force, and so I got my
Oh yeah.
second with Fetish Force. I was a dom in it, and I filmed with Bo Butler for my first scene, and then I had my second scene was with Dylan Diaz and Isaac X. So once again, my second film was with top-notch guys as well. So and again, killed it, had a great time, cried afterwards, and I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I love this. So
Now you need to save the tears for on camera because that's how you get the bonus.
I'll save it for my GVN.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, because it has come up during these conversations before, had you had sex with another man before you were on camera?
I had let's see. Well, before I filmed with the OnlyFans with Isaac, we hooked up like the night before just to like, have an introduction.
A dress rehearsal.
Just rehearsal. But prior to that, I had only had like, if we want to get deep, I was raped in 2015 by a man. And so that was my first introduction to sex with a man, was being raped. So I never really had like that deep connection until I met Isaac. And then I was like, wow, I'm really into this. This is great. I love men and I love women, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so I just kind of jumped on board and just rode the wave.
Yeah, and and it sounds like you're having a great time doing it.
I am. It's so much. It's for me, it's fulfilling. And a lot of people that I've spoken to, from my past are like, I can't believe you would do porn. That's just crazy. I'm like, do you watch porn? Thank you. So thank you. But for me, it's so fulfilling. I don't know why, but it's just something that I love.
Well, it's one of those things of, to your point, do you watch porn? Yes, everyone watches porn. When I started working on the site, a lot of people were like, why do we need a site that's a gay site that's writing about porn? And I kept saying, because none of the gay sites like Out or Queerty write about porn with any seriousness. Right. They'll write if someone dies, and they'll write if, like, when the gay VNs are held, but they're not doing this. They're not talking to the people who are honestly teaching most young gay men about sexuality. That's where we all learn about gay sex, is from porn.
Right.
So why are we not talking about this like it's, whatever the new Netflix streaming series is? It's ridiculous.
Right. No, I agree 100%, because if this conversation was opened up when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, it would have been so much different from my approach in my life, because I lived in this sphere, raised conservative, upper middle class white kid, with around a bunch of other, tough muscle football and athletic guys, like, like the hush hush thing about being gay, or like, you just don't even talk about it because you don't want the ridicule. You don't want the fear of like just getting made fun of and all that stuff. But being 15 years in the future where I'm at now, I'm like, I wish I would have had someone to open that door for me, where I'm like, this is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Whatever feels right for you, that's okay. And so I'm at that point now, and I think it's a great place to start from for the younger generation, so they can understand, like, hey, if you feel a certain way, don't hide it. Be proud of who you are, own it.
Well, and if you'd had that conversation in high school, you could have been taking money from young gay boys and calling it findom. I mean, you could have gotten paid to bully them, but we didn't know.
Right. And with that, that's how I started out, actually. Back in October, I was doing the Cash Master thing, the Findom thing, the foot worship, and I got so frustrated because I wasn't getting any, like, there was nothing coming back. I would get like 5 likes on a post, or it wasn't clicking. And so when I met Isaac, he said, we're rebranding you. We went on my Twitter and erased anything that had anything to do with portraying me in a negative way, or as like this bully type guy, because really, in all actuality, that's not who I am. I'm super caring and loving. I'm like very deep emotionally. But I have the ability to like switch it up and be super dominant, but at the same time, very submissive too. So I'm like a conglomerate. I'm a difficult one to figure out. There's a lot of aspects to me, but when we rebranded and we after that first post, like things just blew up. Like after our first OnlyFans video, I had like 800 followers in one night, and so I was like, okay, this is the right brand to be with, and so we just rolled with it. And
wow.
yeah.
So how did you come up with, is Alpha Wolfe a remnant of the Findom Dom days?
No, that's what it was. It was Alpha Wolfe. So my partner and I were thinking, like, what are you going to call yourself? Who are you? I mean, I can't use my name. Like, that's just weird. And so we were thinking of like different alpha, like I followed this guy, Alpha J, on Twitter. He's got this massive cock. I'm like, that's cool. I like the name Alpha. And then we're trying to like figure out different, like, and then I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, Wolf? And she's like, there it is with an E on the end. That's it. I'm like, at that point, I didn't even know that a wolf, I don't know any like gay terminology. And like, it's actually, it worked out perfect because like, I look like a wolf a little bit and I carry the same vibe, and it just fit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hugh Jackman based his Wolverine portrayal on you. I read that on IMDb trivia.
No, you didn't.
So, no, but some enterprising porn fan is going to go and add it to IMDb trivia for Wolverine.
I can't wait.
Guys, send me a screenshot when you do. So, when you were filming studio porn, what is the difference between doing that or doing OnlyFans, since that's how you got your start?
That's a great question. So with OnlyFans, everybody that films their content or content creator has a different style, you know. And the style that we went with is just, from the viewer's perspective, very voyeur, all natural. Everything just flows. We just set up our cameras and record, and everything is real. And so all of my subscribers, all of her subscribers, they love it because it's real. You can see the passion, you can see the love, you can actually feel it. Like, nothing's faked. And so that's the style of my OnlyFans content that I've always gone with. And even with guys like August Alexander, who's I love him so. August is amazing. He actually got me introduced to myfriendsfeet.com with this guy Rich, and mansurfer.com. And so I was doing foot worship with him, and so he got me into that. And so I met August, and then August and Isaac linked up together, and now all three of us were like this tight little crew, and those are my boys right there.
I always feel so left out because I'm not into feet, and I feel like everyone else is, and I'm like, I wish I were. It would be a lot easier for me to get off.
You know, I just recently I did a scene with kink.com a few weeks ago in Vegas, and as the Dom, I was instructed for part of the scene. He said, you know, I really want you to take his feet and just work. Do you know how to worship feet? I'm like, well, I've been the one's feet who are being worshipped. And so it was an interesting aspect with the kink side of it. So I'm actually like fucking this guy, but I'm like licking his feet and just smelling his feet, you know. And at a certain point, I'm like, I know that feet are not clean, but I cleaned this guy's feet really well. It's kind of fun. I'm like sucking on toes. I'm like, yeah, I can try this, you know. It wasn't like a total like turn on for me, but I wasn't grossed out by it, and I had a great time. So
no, and I'm not grossed out either, but I just see like Chris Damned is so into feet, and I'm like, God, it seems nice.
You know what I'm into? I'm into really soft skin and a nice ass. I just love soft skin and a nice ass. That's really what I'm into.
Is soft skin difficult to come by?
It is really, you know, there's some men that really take care of their skin, you know, and like, but for the most part, like, no, you're gonna find that in a woman or a trans woman. Yeah.
I mean, you're giving me a little bit of Buffalo Bill vibes from Silence of the Lambs. I'm not mad about it. I just wanted you to be aware.
I've never worn anyone's skin yet. So
yet,
that may be the next film. I don't know.
As a famous actor once told me, everything is a yet.
Right. ... Yet.
Well, here I have to ask you this too, because this is one of my favorite questions. Because I did not know. Look, I'm a big bottom, but also I like to eat. And I've never starved myself before a sex date. I'm just like, I'm going to eat. I don't care.
Wow.
And I've been fine. It's been fine. I've never had any problems.
Good for you.
But you, as many men in gay porn do, starve yourself for like multiple hours before bottoming scene. So what is your go-to meal once filming is complete?
When we're done?
Yeah.
We go. So the last few films we've been in Palm Springs, and so we go straight to Lulu's, and I'll get like a ribeye and a pizza. I'll get a pizza for an appetizer, and then have a ribeye, with potatoes and asparagus, and then a couple drinks, maybe a couple beers, and then then I'm set.
That's
but
too
then
much
food. I have to film the next day too. Like, it doesn't work out. Like when we wrap, like I usually have a scene the next day, and I'm like, I don't even fucking care right now. I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna take a bunch of Imodium the night before, and then see how it works out. And I'm learning all these tricks from all the studio guys. So it's everyone has their own style, and I really have learned. The more I think about getting prepped, the more problems are going to come. I just go with the flow, do what you got to do, and don't think about it, and everything's going to be fine.
Yes, because otherwise you're going to be in your head the entire time. And I've had that sex, and it's not enjoyable, and it's not fun.
No, stuck in your head sex is it's dumb. It's not fun. And if you're doing studio work, you have to be so. I mean, for me, like on film, you can tell if you're not present. If you're somewhere else, like it's obvious. So.
Well, has that been a steep learning curve going from OnlyFans, which is very, I mean, I assume that you're not filming the same number of hours for one OnlyFans scene as you do for studio.
No.
So
the
just like
I filmed with
staying in that zone.
It's
no, go.
Studio, with OnlyFans, the longest we filmed is maybe like 40 minutes at the most, and with studio porn, it's just different because you're shooting, especially with Raging Stallion, you're shooting, 2 scenes at 3 different angles. So you're stopping every 10 minutes to get a new angle, to get a new shot. And so it's going really hard for 5 or 6 minutes, taking a break, going hard again. And so, but really enveloping the character that you're portraying and really having that come out on film as well. So, for me, to be honest with you, it came so naturally. I just was me, I just did what I do like on my own. And so, besides the fact, let me tell you this. So, like you said, you're a bottom, and so I'm a pretty good bottom. All the boys are like, they tell my partner, like, you realize that Alpha Wolfe is like a really big bottom, right? And she's like, I know, trust me. But
who do you think trained you? Who do they think trained you?
Right, she trained me. So my first scene with Chris Damned, we're like upstairs in this cabin. I'm riding his cock, and it's great. And then Tony DeMarco stops. He says, Blake, you're doing everything's great, but you can't make those sounds. I'm like making very submissive sounds. He's like, you're Alpha Wolfe. You need to own this guy's dick and just claim it. You can be a dominant bottom. Do you know what a dominant bottom is? I said, no. He said, and he showed me, and I said, okay, I got it. And so since then, I've just been this dominant bottom first guy and just really enveloping this like alpha role, but still like as a bottom, still being alpha and like claiming this is my dick and I'm going to destroy it. That's what I do. So.
Hi. I could have, if you need additional tips, we can talk after this. I've had so many dates go so wrong because people meet me and they're like, oh, okay. And they hear the voice and they see the look, and then we'll get into bed and I'm like, oh,
we're both bottoms. Oh, it's not
no, this isn't going to work. I'm so sorry. Or worse, I'll pretend that I'm a top for too long without actually having sex. I was like, yeah. Oh, it's not great. Like I'm just an old grifter. Like I'm just always trying to do one last con before I retire and get away.
That's awesome.
It's led to a couple of awkward breakups.
Oh, really?
To be quite honest.
Yeah. The awkward silent breakup. You're like, I guess we'll just.
Yeah. where you just slink away. You quietly get dressed and slink away in the night.
Never say a word again.
Well, what has been so frustrating for me, like cheering for all of you guys, and everyone that you've named has been on the show recently or is about to be on the show. Next week is Isaac X. Last week was Bo Butler. I just did Dylan Diaz. I just had August Alexander. And I feel like so many of you have really started to break through in the last year. And there's been a goddamn pandemic. And so you haven't gotten that fan reaction when you're out and about.
Right.
So have you, I mean, going to Palm Springs this often and filming and living in Southern California, have you encountered anyone who recognizes you yet? Has that happened?
Yeah. I was in Vegas 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was filming with Kink, and we were at the Vidara. Where is he staying? One of those nice places. Anyways, we're at the pool, and the waitress comes up to me and she said, I don't remember how it started. She's like, "You look really familiar." She said, "What do you do? What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm shooting porn." She's like, "I knew it. I knew I recognized you." She's like, "Can I get your autograph in a minute?" I'm like, "My God, I just started shooting porn, but sure, sweetheart, absolutely." So I told, I was actually with August Alexander at the time. And he's like, "Why? You really had a deep conversation with her." I'm like, "She just recognized me from Twitter." I said, "Holy shit, that's awesome." So yeah, that was, and I've had a lot of people on Twitter and OnlyFans. Like I've met up with a few people off OnlyFans and Twitter, people that are like just madly in love with me. I'm like, this is crazy. So it's it's new, but I like it, and I really try to stay humble and just try to stay focused on just being a good person and just carrying myself in that.
What did the waitress have you sign?
So she had her little her business card that she did on the side, like her nail and hairstyling stuff. She's like, "Can you just sign this?"
I mean, that's incredible.
Okay,
you're there.
Yeah. So it was inspiring. It felt good, and it was inspiring. I'm like, cool, people are noticing me, and I've never had that in my life. I have always kind of been under the radar. Like growing up, I was this little kid that got beat up all the time, and I was short and skinny and never knew like who I was. And so being where I'm at now, I'm like, that's not who I am anymore. I know who I am as a man. I know who I am as a father and a friend and all that stuff. And so yeah, it's just I'm super excited. So like I was telling my friend the other day, I said the last 3 months have been so wild. Like the end of February till right now has been like a dream. It just doesn't even seem real to me. And then the next 3 months are going to be even more insane because none of my scenes have even dropped yet. So people don't even really know they don't even really know who I am besides of what I've put out on Twitter or people who have retweeted me. And so the next 3 months, I have 9 scenes that are coming out. And so I'll be filming through that. I have scenes with Biphoria, Gender X, Kink, and Raging Stallion in June alone. So
no, this is the beginning of the Alpha Wolfe rise.
Yes. The rise of the Wolfie. As the full moon rises, the wolf comes out, as I like to say. So.
Oh, and is it your full moon rising?
I'm not sure it is right now, but I can tell you that every time there's a full moon out, some crazy shit goes down sexually.
Yes, can confirm. And there's a supermoon coming up, so God only knows what's going to happen. I'm in small town Texas. I'm actually a little bit worried.
Well, don't give me your address because I might come knocking.
Well, and then before we go, do you have an Amazon wish list?
You know what? Everyone's been telling me to make an Amazon wish list, and my birthday is on the 26th of this month, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm always the one that's giving
you have to. No, if you think that waitress wouldn't have gotten you a gift,
That's true.
off of Amazon. Like you tipped her, and she could have turned that tip into a gift for you.
And I tipped her well too. So it's a good point. I think I'll do that.
Yeah, you have to. It's fun, and I mean, there's so many guys are leery about asking for things like gifts or money. But
Right.
I mean, you did Findom stuff, like you get it. Like it's about the other guys. Like guys really enjoy
They
spoiling guys they're attracted to.
Yeah, it's completely fulfilling for that person to be like, here, I just want to take care of you. It's not about me, it's about them. And that's kind of how it is as a provider too. You're just like, it's not really about my needs, it's about providing what this person needs. So
well, now that you're an alpha dominant bottom, you understand.
Right. I understand the full spectrum of giving.
Like you get that.
What's that?
No, I guess. What is the scene that if someone wanted to check out your work, what is the scene that I've got a delivery guy coming up to my door right now, by the way. What is the scene that they should start with?
Let's see. So the only scenes that I have right now that are available, I have 2 scenes with August Alexander on myfriendsfeet.com. And that's like foot worship and tickling also. So both scenes, I'm tied up for the first one, getting tickled and laughing, and then it's reversed and August is worshiping my feet and we come on each other. It's great. But I think so when these scenes start coming out, the one with Chris Damned is going to be amazing. According to the casting director and Tony DeMarco, they said this is an absolutely fire scene. So, and that's my first one. But then also last month I did 3 scenes. I did one with it was a 4-way. So it was me, Chris Damned, Bo Butler, and Isaac X. And so we did a 4-way at the CCBC resort in Palm Springs. We had a crowd of like 75 men that are all outside watching. They're all stroking their cocks, and we were filming out in public at this nude resort. And that scene is gonna be probably the best scene of the year, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to interviewing you as a Gay VN nominee.
Yeah, I can't wait
about that scene.
It's gonna happen. I know it is.
Thank you so much for joining me. This was so much fun, and I'm so delighted when I get to meet someone who everyone that I've spoken to has raved about, and you turn out to be as charming and wonderful as they claim. Because oftentimes you just turn out to be a real asshole.
Yeah, that's not me, fortunately.
I was talking about myself. But you're a true delight, and I had so much fun. And next time that you're on, I expect a full status report on your Amazon wish list.
I will have it ready to go, promise.
I mean, and there has to be a range of stuff, because you have to have like the $20 underwear that guys who don't have a lot of money to send on this can do. And then like the laptop, the iPhone, all of that. You have to have the range.
Okay, so you have to have, so what you're telling me, I need to have like a low, mid, and then a high as far as my necessities and what I need, because there's going to be people of all ranges of financial backing, right, is what you're saying. So
yeah, exactly.
Cool. I can do that. I will do that.
And I'm here to assist. I have helped many guests set up an Amazon wish list shortly after we ended the interview, so I'm here for you.
Love it.
All right. Thank you so much. And congratulations on an amazing year, an amazing start to the year. I cannot wait for these scenes to come out, and I cannot wait until you're a giant fucking star and I can be like, oh yeah, him. I interviewed him like when he got started. Because ultimately it's about me.
Right. Ultimately. Hey, we're only 5.5 months in, but there's a lot more to come. So it's going to be great.
It's so true. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining. And guys, thank you for watching again. I'll see you next week with Isaac X.